I didn't come here today to entertain you. I came to confess something. I once loved a man so deeply that I forgot I existed without him. And by the time I remembered who I was, I had already lost myself. Hi. My name is Angela Brown. I'm 55 years old, and today, I'm not just telling you a story. I'm opening an old wound that I've kept stitched for over 3 decades. Some of you might judge me, some of you might feel sorry for me. But I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here so that one woman out there, just one, doesn't make the same mistake I did. They say love is supposed to feel like fireworks. Mine felt like winter. Beautiful, magical. And slowly, quietly, freezing me to death. I was 19 when I first came to America. A skinny girl from Ghana with a suitcase that wasn't even mine and dreams way too big to fit inside it. I had never seen snow before. In my village, snow was something from movies, fairy tale stuff. But on my 3rd night in New York, it started falling, and let me tell you, no camera, no postcard, no Hollywood movie has ever captured what I saw that night. It felt like the sky was apologizing for every hardship I'd ever lived through. Softly, gently. I walked outside my dorm without even wearing proper shoes. I stretched my hands out, laughing like a fool as snowflakes melted on my skin. That's when I heard a voice behind me. You keep doing that, and you're gonna catch pneumonia before morning. I turned around, and there he was, Daniel Harris, tall. Messy brown hair, blue eyes that looked like they had memorized the sky. He was wearing a gray hoodie and holding 2 cups of coffee. I didn't know coffee could steam like that in the cold. I also didn't know hearts could. He walked up to me without hesitation and handed me a cup. I don't drink coffee, I said shyly. Tonight you do, he smiled. Consider it a welcome to America survival kit. I don't know if it was the coffee or that smile, but warmth spread through me like sunrise. We stood there in silence, side by side, watching the snow together, 2 strangers, and yet, somehow not strangers at all. I didn't know then that this moment, this harmless little winter memory, would one day become the beginning of my greatest joy, and my greatest heartbreak. That night was supposed to be just a small interaction with a stranger, but life doesn't warn you before introducing the person who's going to change everything. The next morning, I found a sticky note on my dorm door. If you survive the coffee, meet me at the library at 4. Daniel. No smiley face. No explanation. Just confidence. The kind that makes you curious. I told myself I wouldn't go. Then I spent the next 6 hours staring at the clock. At 4:07. I walked into the library pretending I had just randomly ended up there. Daniel looked at me like he already knew I'd come. Late, he said. I didn't know it was an appointment, I replied. It was a prediction. He smirked. That was Daniel. He didn't ask permission to be in your life. He walked right in and made himself comfortable. Over the next few weeks, we became something. Not friends. Not lovers. Something in between. He would sit with me while I studied, even though he didn't belong to my course. He'd bring me food when I forgot to eat. One night, when I was crying silently in my room because I missed home, he texted, I don't know why, but I feel like you need someone to talk to right now. If I'm wrong, ignore me. If I'm right, say, coffee. I replied with one word. Coffee. He didn't ask where I was. He was already outside my building. Let me tell you something about falling in love in a foreign country, all alone. It doesn't feel like romance. It feels like safety, like someone finally built a home around your heart. One night, we were walking back from the diner. It was snowing again, softer this time. He suddenly stopped and said, do you ever feel like you're living someone else's life? I looked at him. Every day. He turned to me slowly. Then let's make one of our own. I didn't realize he was asking me to love him. I thought he was dreaming out loud. But the next moment, he took off his jacket and wrapped it around me. He didn't hug me. He didn't kiss me. He just covered me. Like I was something precious. That's when I knew I was falling. But love isn't a straight road. It's a cliff, and I had already jumped out a few weeks later. He said something that changed everything. Angela, I want you to meet my family. At first, I smiled, then I froze. I wasn't stupid. I knew what that really meant. Not every love story in America is welcome at the dinner table, especially when one side of the table is white and the other is me. I laughed it off. Oh no, they don't want to meet me. He held my face gently. They will love you. I wish he was right. I wish love was strong enough to erase years of prejudice. I wish snow melted every heart the way it melted mine. But the day I walked into his parents' house was the day I learned that some doors don't open, no matter how gently you knock. Daniel's parents lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind where every lawn was perfectly trimmed, every curtain perfectly aligned, and every neighbor perfectly aware of who belonged there, and who didn't. I remember fixing my hair in the car mirror as we pulled into the driveway. Daniel squeezed my hand. You're gonna be fine, he whispered, but his voice didn't sound as confident as usual. The front door opened before we even knocked. His mother stood there, perfect posture. Expensive cardigan, pearl earrings. She looked at Daniel. She smiled, then she looked at me, and the smile froze, halfway. Like someone pressed pause. Mom, Daniel said nervously, this is Angela. She didn't reply, she just stared at me, not with curiosity, not with welcome, but with calculation. As if she was trying to figure out what category to put me in. Finally, she spoke. Oh, you're Angela. No, nice to meet you. No handshake. No warmth, just acknowledgement, the kind you give to a problem you didn't plan for. Dinner was worse. His father was quiet. Too quiet. He barely looked at me, just focused on cutting his steak like it was a mission. His mother asked me 3 questions the whole night. So where are you from? No, I mean originally. Do you plan on staying in America permanently? You must be very grateful to Daniel for helping you adjust. She didn't even wait for my answers, she just nodded like she already knew them. At one point, Daniel said proudly, Angela got the highest grade in our class last week. His mother smiled? But not at me. She looked at him and said, that's sweet. You always did like helping people. Helping people. She didn't see me as a woman. Or a guest. Or, God forbid, a partner to her son. She saw me as a charity project. After dinner, Daniel went to get his jacket. I stood in the hallway alone with his mother. She looked at me, not with cruelty, but with something almost worse, pity. Then she said, softly, you seem like a good girl, but you, and Daniel? This world isn't kind to couples like that. It's better not to get too attached. Not too attached, lady. I was already drowning. I just didn't realize it yet. On the drive back, I was silent. Daniel kept glancing at me. I'm sorry. They were weird. I forced a smile. It's all right. They just need time. But deep down, something cracked. A tiny fracture, invisible, but deadly. Love is powerful, but so is rejection, and sometimes, it's not the person you love who breaks you. It's the people who never let you fully have him. Daniel must have sensed the weight in my silence, because the next morning, he showed up outside my dorm with something in his hand, a tiny snow globe. Inside it was a small white house, and beside it, 2 little figurines. One white, one brown. Holding hands. He placed it in my palm without a word, then he said, I don't care what they think. I know what I feel. And I'm not losing you. It should have healed me. It should have erased last night, but love doesn't work like that, sometimes. Words bandage wounds that are already bleeding from the inside. Over the next few months, Daniel fought for me. He started spending less time at home, more time with me. He stopped mentioning his family altogether. He made plans, big ones. After graduation, we'll get our own place, he'd say, we'll travel. Ghana first. Then maybe Italy. Spain. I'll show the whole world you're mine. I would smile, but deep inside, I would always hear his mother's voice whispering, this world isn't kind to couples like that. But I tried. I tried to love loud enough to silence the doubt. We cooked together. Studied together. Danced in the living room like fools. He would kiss my forehead every morning like it was a ritual blessed by God himself, and then, one night, while we were watching a movie on his sofa, he paused it suddenly. Marry me, he said, just like that. No ring. No kneeling. No speech, just 2 words, marry me. I stared at him. My heart stopped. My future flashed in front of me, our mixed children, our home, our love, but then, I saw something else, his mother's face, her cold eyes, her warning, it's better not to get too attached. And I realized, she didn't just dislike me, she was waiting. For me to back away quietly, waiting for me to accept that I was temporary. I looked at Daniel and, I made a decision, not to run, not to break, but to fight. Yes, I whispered. I'll marry you. He grinned like a sunrise exploding across his face. He lifted me, spun me around. Laughing like a madman. In that moment, I forgot every fear, but life has a way of reminding you of what you've tried to forget. 2 weeks later, he took me back to his parents' house, to tell them. To announce. To claim me. I walked in with my head high. I was no charity. I was no guest. I was his fiancée. His mother opened the door, she didn't smile. Daniel didn't wait for greetings. He held my hand, and said, I'm marrying Angela. Silence. His father's fork dropped onto the plate. His mother blinked twice, then slowly, she exhaled. No, you're not. Daniel's jaw tightened. Yes, I am. His mother's voice sharpened like glass. Daniel, this is not about her. This is about reality. Do you know what people will say? Do you know what your kids will go through? Do you know what we'll go through? He stepped forward. I don't care. She stepped forward too. Well, we do. What happened next? Was the moment I realized, I was no longer just a girlfriend. I was a war. His mother's words cut through the air like a blade. You are not marrying her. Daniel didn't flinch. I'm not asking for permission. His father stood up. Son, you need to think. This isn't just about you. Daniel stepped closer to me. Held my hand openly. No. It's about us. And for the first time in that cold, silent room, I saw fear in his mother's eyes, not anger, not hatred, fear of losing control, fear of society's judgment, fear of what their friends would whisper at church. The Daniel boy married a black girl. We walked out of that house that night, hand in hand, not speaking, not crying, just breathing, together. The secret wedding we didn't wait. 2 weeks later, we drove to a small courthouse in Massachusetts. No flowers. No music. No guests, just a judge. 2 signatures. And a kiss. I became Angela Whitman, and for a while, I became happy, truly, undeniably, stupidly, happy. We got a tiny apartment. Daniel would wake me up with burnt pancakes every Sunday. I'd laugh, pretending they were edible. We'd dance in the kitchen to 80s music. He loved Bon Jovi. I loved Whitney Houston. He'd spin me around like I was made of stardust. We were broke, but we were rich in love. Or so I thought. The first crack it started small. A comment here. A sigh there. He stopped talking about his parents, stopped mentioning them altogether. When they called, he'd step outside. When I asked, what did they say? He'd reply, nothing. It's fine. But it wasn't fine because silence is just anger wearing a mask. He began working longer hours, coming home quieter, smiling less. One night, I placed my hand on his and asked gently, do you regret marrying me? He looked at me, tired eyes, heavy soul. No. I regret losing them. That night, I slept facing the wall, and for the first time in our marriage, he didn't reach out to hold me, trying to fix what was already breaking. I tried, God knows. I tried. I suggested counseling. I cooked his favorite meals. I learned to make his mother's pie recipe, hoping maybe if I reminded him of home, he'd see me as home too. But sometimes, love isn't enough to erase someone else's guilt. The final argument had happened on a rainy Thursday. I asked him, gently, do you still see me as your wife? Or just your mistake? He slammed his fist on the table. I lost my family because of you. Silence, pure, absolute, shattering. He realized what he said. I realized what I'd become, not his partner, not his joy, his sacrifice. He whispered, Angela, I'm sorry. But apologies can't fix words that echo forever. The decision we filed for divorce quietly. No drama. No screaming, just 2 signatures. 2 trembling hands. 2 broken hearts. When the judge stamped the papers, I didn't cry, not because I wasn't hurting, but because I had already cried enough in silence. The rebirth people assume divorce is the end for me. It was a beginning. I moved to a small apartment. Started working with a community shelter for young interracial couples facing rejection. Just like I did, girls would sit across from me and ask, does love always end like this? And I smiled out a strong, healed smile. No, baby. Love doesn't fail. People do. My message to you: I don't hate Daniel. I don't hate his family. I don't hate love, because love didn't break me. It built me. It taught me. Never beg to be accepted. Never shrink to fit someone's comfort. Never choose a love that requires losing yourself. So if you're listening to my story today, don't be afraid to love. But more importantly, don't be afraid to leave when love stops feeling like home. I was once a girl who thought love would save me. Now, I am a woman who saved herself, and that is the greatest love story I'll ever tell.